Hey all, I'm going to go look at a vehicle. So I'm heading up to Roxbury, Mass, and I'm going to take you along. All right, well, that was a total and utter bust. That was a 93 Chevy van. I was mostly interested in because it's the Shorty bus with the barn doors on the side. But whew, that thing needed a lot. So let's try to go here. It wasn't terribly rusty, especially by the standard of those vans, but it was going to need both rear wheel arches, the entire passenger side rocker panel, and at least part of the driver's side rocker panel, and a couple of other little spots here and there. It was a conversion van with a absolutely god-awful, like, salmon pink faded interior, which didn't matter because I was going to be gutting the interior and redoing it. I basically want to do like a traditional 70s van kind of vibe. But yeah, I had high hopes for this one. It looked great in the photos. Came to look at it, ended up having to wait around a half an hour because they were not here when they agreed to be. And like, the reason I was still looking at it after the rust was the underside is actually in really good shape. Like the rockers and the rear wheel wells are rusted, but the underside of it was really clean. But when I actually got in it and tried to drive it, like, the muffler's blown out, so it needs at least a muffler, if not an exhaust system. It pulls hard to the right. Like, you let go of the steering wheel and it immediately veers off. Like, if I let go of the steering wheel, it would, like, within a car, 1 to 2 car lengths, it was risking hitting a parked car. Like, and then, like, the ABS light was on, the parking brake light was on, even though the parking brake was off. When you turn the left turn signal, one of the bulbs was burned out. The rearview mirror had fallen down. The driver's window, the last little inch when it tried to go up, it was really struggling. Just lots of little stuff. Like, none of it was a deal killer, but it was just lots and lots of stuff that to me indicated a van that was not being properly taken care of. And they wanted $3,700 for it, which those vans are going up in value, but that's just, it's more than I want to spend on a van where I immediately have to start working on problems. I lowballed the guy and offered to trade the van straight up for the Magnum. He wasn't interested in either, so deal didn't happen. Little bummed. Like, I really want a van. That's kind of the thing that my brain's focusing on right now. But do I want that van badly enough to pay that price? I don't think so. It just, something about it rubbed me the wrong. There are just certain vehicles that have certain types of just like lots of little problems And the guy kept being like, oh, you know, mechanic. Every time I point something out, he didn't speak English very well, but he's like, oh, mechanic, you know, mechanic sort that out. Maybe, you know, maybe like $500, $800. And it's like, yeah, dude, that's the problem with the van. Is it needs $500 to $800 worth of mechanical work, probably. Maybe more. It needs another, if I was to take it somewhere, you know, another $1,000 of metal work. So yeah, the numbers just I couldn't make the numbers work in my head. If it had been, what I really want is a cargo style van. I want the ones with no windows down the side, just the flat sides. If it had been a cargo van Shorty, yeah, I probably would have bitten the bullet and gone up a significant amount in my offer. But with this one, I was already going to have to get the van I wanted, I was going to have to gut the entire conversion van interior, all the captain's chairs and all that stuff. I was going to have to pull the windows out that had been added and weld patches in, you know, get off a skin of another van and cut a patch and weld it in to turn it back into a cargo. The conversion van started as cargo vans, to turn it back into a cargo van. I wanted the earlier style look, so I'd be backdating the front end, so that's a whole nother expense there to get the correct front end parts. So yeah, it just wasn't right enough. Like I said, if it was a cargo van but it had these problems, would have gone for it. If it's the conversion van but it was in good, you know, mechanical shape, basically not needing much of anything, like if it had one, like if the muffler had been blown out but it drove fine and nothing else was a problem, or like the ABS light was on but everything else was fine, or it pulled to the right but everything else, you know, it's like if it had one of those problems, I would have been like, yeah, all right, whatever, it's the thing I have to deal with. But just the sort of racking up of them was just enough for me to not really be feeling it. But yeah, that's it. No go on that van. Kind of bummed. Really, it was. Oh, I wanted it to be good. I wanted it to be good so badly, but just wasn't the van for me. So I'm gonna have to keep looking. I may end up having to just bite the bullet, raise my budget, and buy a more expensive van, and just. But I am also willing to put the work in, so I don't want to spend significantly more to get a fully sorted van, because I'm the person who likes fixing vehicles and sorting vehicles, and, you know, what the hell, it's more content. But yeah, whatever. I'm gonna keep looking. At other stuff too. It's not just gonna be a van. That's just one of the things that I'm looking at. It's kind of gonna end up being whatever the thing that grabs my interest, that I can find a good example of at a price I want to pay, is gonna be the thing I'm gonna end up buying. And my interests are so varied that who knows what the heck I'm actually gonna end up with. But that's all for now. I'll talk to you all later, and I'll bring you more adventures in car shopping when I can. Bye.